You can change if you want for, or you can stay in your hell. Really. And anyone that has anger is in hell. And as I mentioned yesterday in fellowship, I realized, because I talked to a lot of people, counseling with men and women around the world by phone, Skype, or walk-in. Well, it's not Skype anymore. It's Zoom. Zoom. I like to fly away. Zoom. And if you want an appointment, go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 1-800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And I realized, because I used to wonder, I'm telling people, and Christ told them too, so my message is from him, that in order to enter into perfect peace, the kingdom of heaven within, and that's where perfect peace is, that you got to forgive. You got to stop being angry. And I tell people that all the time. Everywhere I go, if anyone bring up anything, I'm like, drop the anger, you'll be fine. And most people, not all, but most won't drop it. And I was like, wonder, why is it that won't drop the anger? And what I finally realized, given to me by the Father to understand, is that people with anger, they see that as an identity. It's another form of identity. They think and they identify with their anger, so they believe that they are the anger. And they think that they have to live life that way. They think anger is a defense. Even though it destroys them, their children, if they have children, their relationships, and everything. But they identify with anger. And if you notice, the moment you say something to them, they get angry, just like that. And you can't tell them that they're angry. You're angry. And it's a thrill. I want you to notice, I encourage you to notice, next time you get angry, notice how you're getting a thrill from it. You may call it a bad thrill or whatever, but it's still a thrill. And in that thrill is your false sense of identity. You believe you're the anger. Who will I be if I'm not angry? People will walk all over me if I'm not angry. How will I be strong if I'm not angry? Not knowing you're weak. Isn't that amazing? And they love revenge. Angry people love to try to hurt other angry people or other people because they're evil, right? But it's an identity. You want to do what you want, but I recommend, as Christ said, you don't have to be who you are anymore. I recommend you drop all identities. Don't identify with anything or anyone. Don't call them you. And you shall be free. Really. But I understand most people don't want it. So it's up to you. Let me go to Jackie, our first time caller out of Southern California. Jackie, you're
Hi,
on the air.
Jesse.
Hey, Jackie.
I'm glad to speak with you.
Yes.
I started listening not too long ago, and I have been puzzling over your encouragement for people to ask forgiveness from their mother.
Well, not to ask for forgiveness, but to forgive them.
Forgive them, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm a mother, and I was thinking, well, what have I done to my son? My son's 29 years old. And so I've been thinking for a while about this, about what I needed to ask him to forgive me for, apologize for. And then I finally figured it out that as a mother, a lot of my mothering has been manipulation and coercion and trying to get him to do what I thought was best for him to do.
Yeah.
And what course in life I thought he should take, and passing judgment on his, recreation and friends. And I almost don't even know him as a person. Instead, he's just always been my son and someone to, manipulate, basically, is what
Yep.
a lot of my mothering is. So last week I sent him a text and apologized for, always treating him like a child and for the manipulation and coercions. And I told him I was proud of him and I just trusted his decisions in life. And he was so sweet back to me. So that's been very good. But I also felt a great relief because he wasn't my responsibility anymore.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so anyway, I just thought that I should let you know that your words are hitting their mark and making the world better. Thank you.
You're welcome, and you stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And what you describe as manipulation, all mothers do that to the boys and the girls. And
Yes.
they pretend that is love. I'll be your mother, I love you. When in
Mhm.
reality they are manipulating and controlling you. And as a
Mhm.
result, they make your life miserable. When you grow up
Oh.
and go out to try to live, it's difficult because they have imposed their will on the children and set
Mm.
them up to suffer and fail in life.
It's so true. And I'm a very strong person. And I have done some real miserable things to my son
Yeah.
and just hit him with my anger
Yes.
because he wasn't doing what I thought. And I remember one time when he was in high school, and I think the schooling, especially for boys, is very boring. And he wasn't achieving like I thought he should achieve.
Yep.
And he came home with a D in Italian, which means he wasn't going to get into a university. And I just hit the roof. And I stomped upstairs in the morning before school and slammed. And I took the door off his door off the hinges, and I
Wow.
cleaned his room of Legos. And I'm like, you need to get your grades up. And because I thought I could, with a force of will, force him to get the grades I thought he needed to have the career that I wanted him to have. And now I look back at that rage, and I'm just, appalled and have been working diligently to become aware of my emotions and, and life has just gotten so much more peaceful
You
for
know,
everyone around me.
Christ said that in order for us to be free, we must confess our sin. And the
Mm,
sin is playing God. And
yeah.
anyone that has anger play God. They think they know right and wrong. And so they
Mm,
use that to play God when it's really separating you from God to be your own God.
yeah.
And that's why you bring hell up on the earth because you are playing God. But when you can see that you're wrong as you have done, then God forgive you and he bring you into the kingdom of heaven where it's perfect peace. So you're on your way. Be patient. It gets better for you.
Thank you. I'll keep listening.
Where was his father that he didn't stop you from doing that to your son?
His father and I divorced last year, unfortunately, after 27 years. And his father, and I'm a mechanical engineer, entrepreneur,
Oh God.
uh, conservator for my brother. I build homes. I took down City Hall because they falsely arrested me, and I stopped a corruption. So I'm a very big force of will, and that and and as I became more and more competent, my husband relinquished more and more of the responsibility, and eventually quit working, I lost respect for him.
Yeah.
So what should have been, true love, dissolved in resentment and anger. And so that's where we are now. And, and, now looking back, I can see how my emotions and at one point, my husband started boycotting my birthdays as kind of a petty meanness. And my trigger is abandonment. And that's why I'm an overachiever, I think, because I've always done things to, get acceptance or have people need me.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. And so what?
And so when my husband started doing this, I became so resentful and angry at him. And instead of understanding that he was limited, he doesn't even know now, I don't think. He's not really aware. Anyway. But now after, let me try and get control of this emotion. But now in hindsight, because we were separated for 6 years before we finally got the divorce. And I wonder now, looking back, if I could have changed our course or just accepted and had more compassion for him instead of judging him. And again, I wanted him to treat me like I thought I deserved to be treated. And, I wanted him to work and take responsibility and stuff. And so I tried to, forcing and manipulating that to happen. But maybe...
You're trying to make him be what you want him to be in the same way you're trying to make your son be what you wanted him to be.
Right, yeah.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Yes, I have. My mom died of cirrhosis of the liver, I think, from a broken heart, and had a very turbulent household. And my parents are immigrants also, so we don't have any other family here in the States. And so we're kind of isolated. And but my mother had a drinking problem, and I always, my dad's an engineer. I became an engineer, and I always looked at my mother with contempt because I thought she was weak. And
what a mess!
I know, yeah.
So have you apologized to your husband for being so dominating and out of control? Now that you understand, have you apologized to him?
I did in a brief way because he's done some shitty things right now. But
Jackie,
I did.
Are you able to hold on for a minute? Let me take a break.
Yes, thank you.
All right, hold on. I want to go quickly back to Jackie, a first-time call out of Southern California, and she apologized to her son, and she's starting to wake up. She's feeling better now. She realized she was controlling him to try to make him be, as his mother, what she wanted him to be. And it's amazing, educated and everything. Jackie, so I ask, did you apologize to your husband? And you say?
Yes.
And so you went to him, and what happened?
I didn't go to him because our relationship is not good right now, but I did send him a text message saying, I know now that you didn't mean this to happen, meaning our divorce.
Right.
And I've lost my anger at dealing, my anger at him has largely evaporated. I still have moments of pain, like crying and weeping, but I've apologized to him. I don't think he did mean this to happen.
No.
And if we could relive it, it could play out in a different manner.
Yeah.
In hindsight, but also, what I have now is also okay. I'm making it okay.
Yes, absolutely. And don't look back. You're forgiven for what has happened, and you realize it wasn't you. And so whatever happened then, and all you have right now is right now. So if you do the silent prayer and practice staying present, it's just going to only get better for you. You will be free, and you will have an amazing life.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. Are you doing the silent prayer yet?
I'm doing a lot of meditating, and I'm being very present. I've learned that if I fantasize the future or live in the past, I'm very unhappy.
Yes.
But if I'm right here in the present, and if I quit trying to control things and just realize that whatever I need, will be presented to me at the time that I need it. And
Absolutely.
So my job is, if I can stay present, then I can be aware of the small miracles that God is, or Jesus, or the higher power is presenting to me. And it's so amazing. Manifestations, is a word I learned. And, but I'm using a lot of visualization. Because I'm so capable, I have been very judgmental my life. Oh, I can do that. Then it means you can do that. But I've been humbled, and I've really been practicing being present and not judging people, and instead noticing the light of the world inside of everybody, even ugly or mean people and good people. Each of us that is living has the light of the world that we've been gifted with, and that's what can't be sullied or corrupted. And so I've been practicing just being aware.
Yeah, you stay present. Just stay present.
Thank you.
Go about your life. You go to work, but avoid as much as possible thinking about the past or the future, because life is in the present. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. That doesn't even exist. So just stay with it, Jackie, and you'll only get better.
Thanks, Jesse. And you're my male voice of wisdom that I'm turning to. I don't have males in my life right now, or none that are worthy of, respect and wisdom. And so your voice in other men is what I'm turning to for guidance and comfort. Gives me hope. And so thank you for that.
And you stay with it. You're welcome, and stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, all right? Good to hear from you.
God bless you.
You too, thank you. Amazing. Really. You don't have to be you anymore. Any longer. You don't have to be you. And one last one. Do you think that this lawyer leaked his affair? Here's a lawyer on June 19, 2025. A male lawyer arguing a case at a Colorado court of appeal accidentally called a judge, honey. Honey, causing an awkward moment. Watch this from X.
Wasn't pursued it, but this could have been three separate.
Okay, but it wasn't three separate.
I know,
Let's go with what happened in the case.
But honey, oh my God, I'm sorry. That I don't know what to say to that. I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
The question here is what happened. I'm sorry, I've just been totally thrown by
I
my
can
mistake.
imagine. I can imagine. I'm a little thrown by that also, if I'm being honest.
Your Honor, I don't know what to say. It's just
Okay. Well, go ahead. You've only got 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
The question here.
What's wrong with saying honey? Oh, honey. What's wrong with that, Nick?
Well, it's not her honey. It's not his honey.
What is it?
That's the judge.
Oh.
That was the judge.
Maybe he thought he was arguing with his wife?
Maybe it felt like that, you know? Because it's, no, I'm telling you to tell me this. And he's like, honey, calm down. Oh, oops. Either it really was his honey and he revealed it, or it just felt like his wife. It reminded him.
She was sick. You call me honey. I'm the judge. You got to say your honor. No, my ego is so high, you can't call me honey. You call me your honor. What the? 888. He was thrown off. I don't even think he recuperated from that. It didn't really look like a big deal to me, but I don't think he recuperated. Do you hate?
He's still tripping to this day, I bet.
Yeah.
It's so funny because they totally could have played it off like, oh, I don't know.
Right. They said, oh, I'm sorry. And went on.
But they were not slick about it.
And Jared is telling me this happened during an argument whether or not a violent sexual assault count as one act or count between, or let me see. This happened during an argument whether or not a violent sexual assault counts as one act or can be broken into multiple acts. You going to order up in front of a female judge? What? And call her honey? Ask you a blonde. Oh, Lord. No wonder he was scared. Anyway, 888-7753-773. I bet you he didn't get over that ever. Honey. I can hear him talking to if he had a wife like that. Honey, listen. Now do you believe me when I tell you my country is not coming back? I got more proof for you. My country, America, is done. In spite of the amazing things that the great white hope Donald Trump is doing, working overtime to make it a little better, a little easier to live in, it's still falling apart. It's falling to pieces. It's falling to pieces. It's still alive but barely breathing. What a mess. It's a spiritual battle. The boat is going down the river in the wrong way, the wrong direction, and is headed for a clash. When will you get off? Or will you get off? Most people won't. You can warn them. The boat is about to hit a rock, an iceberg. Hurry up and get off. And most people, because they're asleep, they'll say, no, I'm not getting off. Everything looks fine to me. Okay. It's time to get off the boat and go a different direction. Because America is over. And if you doubt me, if you need like more physical proof, look at the Western world. Look at all of the white countries where white people are in control. Is running over with illegal aliens from different countries, and they're bringing in nothing but bitterness, lawlessness, a disrespect for the people who own the country, crime. I mean, it is probably the most and I've seen amazing things. It is probably the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of amazing things. But these people have been allowed into the Western world with Eastern ideas, wherever they came from. And the same thing they've done in their country, they're doing it here in America. And the American people are too afraid to say, stop. You can't do that here. Go back home if you want to mess up. They're bringing their crazy ideas into America. I think about Ilhan Omar, whatever her name is, and Tlaib Sheikh. They're in our government with Muslims' ideas. The ideas that they grew up in a country that they said they fled from. And they came into America and they got into our government, and the American people allowed enough people in to vote for these people. What do you think you're going to get? It's like getting married over and over and over again. And you end up with the same person, different name, but the same person. The woman end up with the same man, different name, but the same man. And the man end up with the same woman, different name, but the same woman, over and over again. And they get married 8 times. 8 times they're getting married to the widow next door. And she's been married 7 times before. You keep getting the same thing over and over and over again because you keep going to the same location and getting the same thing over and over again, and you never learn. And the location's in your imagination. You keep running to the imagination, to thoughts, for answers, solution for the last bad decision you made. And they give you this another, what looked like a good solution, and it's the same old solution. And then they laugh at you, and then you cry. You keep voting in the same people over and over and over again. Some with new names, but the same people. And then they laugh at you, and then you cry. And yet you vote them in again. Only a few, a handful, about as many as I can hold in my hand, will get off the boat and take a different direction in life. Only a few. And I understand that, I know that, and I'm okay with that. I don't feel sorry for you or anything. I feel nothing. It is wrong. I want you to think about this, but do what you want. It is wrong to feel sorry for human beings. Something wrong with you. Because human beings do what they want. They get the thrills they want. They get the misery they want. They get the relationships they want. They get what they want. And you feel sorry for them because something's wrong with you. What a sad way to live. Another thing that's very, very interesting to me, it blows my mind. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? In my country and around the world, but my country, America first, they're voting in women of all races in every department of life. knowing, and they know it. It's not like they think. They know it's not in the woman's nature to lead. She was not created by the Father to lead. She was created to follow. They know that. They know it's not going to work, and they see how bad things are getting as a result of voting in women into leadership role. And you know what they're doing? They're doing it anyway. And then, as things are falling apart and get worse, and it will, they're going to cry. They're going to be afraid. They're going to wonder, how did this happen? And they won't blame themselves. They will not blame themselves for what they've done. They'll blame someone else. You told me to do it. It's your fault. They will blame somebody else instead of seeing what they've done. Amazing, huh? It's a spiritual battle. And it's happening inside of human beings. Human nature is evil. It is pure. It's worse than what you can even imagine. And you start to see it once you start to overcome your fallen nature. And you can if you want. And you can if you want. So, either get off the boat and become independent, or stay on with the crowd and sink. Because the boat is sinking. America is sinking. And fast. It looks like over the last couple of years, it's moving faster toward destruction. So you can either stay in your hell right here on earth and just sink with the world, or you can have heaven on earth and rise above it. It's up to you. It really is. It doesn't matter what color, male or female, where you live, what you have or don't have, who you're friends with or not friends with, your little reputation or your fake status in the world. You're sinking with the world. Your little degree is not going to stop it. It's just going to prevent you from seeing if you don't want to see. What a mess. So some of you know that yesterday, the great white hope, what manner of man is this? The wind and sea obey him. The world obeys him. Yesterday, he announced that there was a ceasefire. And there was going to be an agreement between Israel and Iran. I guess Iran. Somebody. He made the announcement yesterday, and he gave them like 7 hours or so to get it right, to get it done. And then something happened. And he's on it this morning. He ain't playing around. He is tick. And the one thing you don't want to do, ever want to do, is tick off the great white hope. He ain't playing. This man worked 24 hours a day to take care of business. He's trying to get things done in the short time that he has in the White House. He is trying to make, America great again. And doing an amazing job, I must say, in spite of the opposition, the devil inside of human beings. Reuters is reporting U.S. President Donald Trump accused both Israel and Iran of violating a ceasefire on Tuesday. hours after he announced it, expressing particularly frustration with Israel, which had announced major new strikes on Tehran. Watch this from C-SPAN.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
That's right. They've been fighting so long and so hard, they don't know what they're doing now. They don't know how to ceasefire. Is your life like that? Have you been living in the darkness of your imagination, of thoughts and emotions for so long, living in misery that you don't know what to do? Someone tell you, you know what? Lay your weapon down. Stop fighting. You don't need to fight anymore. Lay your weapons down spiritually, and you won't do it because you've been fighting so long, one with evil, living in darkness. Same thing with these people. They've been fighting forever, and they don't know how to stop. They don't know how to cease fire. They don't know how to stop fighting. Just like you don't know how to stop fighting with evil in your imagination. You've been told to fight all your life, the moment you popped out of your mama's womb. She told you to fight, and you've been fighting all your life, even though it's never been working for you and it's never solved one problem. You keep fighting. The Father says, lay your weapons down. Like Trump is telling Israel and Iran, lay your weapons down, cease fire. Father, God, told you to lay your weapons down, stop fighting, and I'll fight your battle. Well, you don't listen to that. You think you can fight your own battle and win. You don't know if you stop fighting with evil, you will win. When you stop fighting with evil, the battle is over. When you stop fighting with one another in your relationships, marriage, whatever ship, stop fighting. It's over. The devil cannot fight by him or herself. It needs you to fight with it. That's how it stay alive. But Trump is like, they don't know what the F they're doing. One more proof here, and I got a bunch of it today, that it's over for my country, my America. They're putting our enemies in charge of America, making laws and all kinds of stuff. And these people from countries that has not, does not, is not going to work, and they're coming here with those same ideas in America, and you're voting for them. You're voting for them. Look what happened when you voted for Eliane Omar, where her name, Talisha Rashid, and all these foreigners in our government. Jasmine Cricket and Maxine Ward. Look what you're getting. And you keep repeating the same thing over Rashid Tlaib, whatever. And you keep getting the same thing over and over. That's what you do in your life. You consult with the same devil, and you get the same thing over and over again. I want you to hear this. If you think that's bad, This is going to cause you to say, if ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. Listen to this. I couldn't believe this, but yet I could believe it. Because I see what's happening in my country. It looked like, and it might not happen. I'm having to wait and see. In New York, they're going to vote in a Muslim mayor of New York. Yes, a Muslim mayor of New York City. As though New York doesn't have enough problem as it is. Pics 11 is reporting. The Fighter major independent poll before primary day in New York City shows Queen, a cinnamon, a Muslim by the name of something, Zohran Mamdani, passing former Governor Andrew in the last round of ranked choice voting simulation. So they're having this election in New York City for mayor. I want you to hear this first soundbite from Pics 11. Watch this.
Andrew Cuomo's support has stayed steady over the past month. Starts out with the most votes, but as we all know, ranked choice voting is in play here. And as we go through the simulation and rounds of voting, a different victor emerges. Take a look at how this is predicted to play out in the last major poll before primary day from Emerson College, Pics 11 and The Hill. Andrew Cuomo with first round of voting, maintaining his lead with 36%. Mamdani pulling a very close second at 34%, and Brad Lander rounding out the top three with 13%. Now, as the simulation plays out, Cuomo keeps that lead until the eighth and final round, when Lander is eliminated and the majority of those second choice ballots flow to Mamdani, pushing him into the winner's position, 52% to Cuomo's 48%.
I guess the people in New York doesn't have enough pain yet, huh? Did you ever imagine that these types of things could happen in America? Human beings are evil, and you cannot trust an angry person. An angry man or woman is a murderer. It cannot be trusted. A bitter, angry person is evil. There's no love in them at all. Nothing but destruction. They would destroy their own children because they have no love. That's why you got to drop the anger. Anyone that has anger is very unhappy. I want you to hear more about this Mamdani person out there in New York that look like the people is about to vote for. Watch this from X.
Alhamdulillah, there are 1 million Muslims in this city. 200,000 of us are registered to vote as Democrats. In the last election, only 7% of us voted. Now, I will not blame anyone because often it feels like there isn't much to vote for. But this June 24th, with early voting starting tomorrow, it is an opportunity. An opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall. Because yesterday I stood on the debate, and Andrew Cuomo stood next to me. And here was a man who was the governor for a decade, and he could not name a single mosque he had ever visited. He could not name it because he does not care.
That's not over in Tehran or Iran. That's in New York. New York City, USA. If that doesn't concern you, I don't know what will. And he's like, Cuomo would not visit, couldn't tell me one mosque he had visited. Why did he have to visit a mosque? He's not in Iran or Tehran. Why is he required to do that? Or that's for what? Why? So they can scare the death out of him? When the last time he visited a Klans meeting? He should have been at Cuomo. When the last time you visited a KKK meeting? You have not visited one. Or Cuomo should have asked him, when the last time you visited a KKK meeting? Whatever his name is. Mandanin. Have you visited a KKK meeting? Why would I want to visit a mosque? This is the United States. I want to show you something that I saw this morning, or maybe last night, or yesterday sometime, that if I was into feeling sad for people or feeling bad or emotions, this would have made me sad. And to watch the men around these ladies, to watch them allow these women to do this and act this way was even sadder. Talk about beta males. And this is more proof that our country, my country, America, is never coming back. This situation is so bad that Satan and all of his demons are rejoicing. Because it's all ego, it's all emotional, it has nothing to do with God or salvation. It's just a thrill. That's all it is. It's an ego thrill. And it's just so unfortunate, if I can use that word. And maybe it's not for those who love their misery. Because if you love your misery, that's what you want. I don't know if that's unfortunate or not. I want to show you something. Get ready. And this is like, I never imagined one day I would see this. I just never imagined. Are you ready? I want you to be ready for this one. Call up your mama, your brothers, your sisters, your Christian friends, because this is bad, folks. This is real bad. I'm not just building it up. I'm telling you a reality. So get ready. Hurry up and get in front of the TV set or the YouTube set or whatever. Are you ready? This is from MTN. You think the blacks out there fighting is bad? And it is, but this is worse. This is worse than the blacks fighting at McDonald's and at every event, public event, and on the airplane everywhere. This is worse than that. Get ready for this. And I'm warning you because when I saw it, it was shocking because I wasn't warned in advance about it. But I'm warning you. It's sad. It's just, I'm using the word sad, but I don't feel sad, but it is sad. This is from MTN, a video showing Texas evangelist Sharon Boland praying at the White House with a group of pastors from Texas has gone viral. Watch this from X.
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us. And we are taking the land. We thank you, O Lord. You have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now from the capital of our nation that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your people right now.
There is something being released. It ain't heaven. There is something. It's hell. It's not heaven. That is so sad. I don't know what to say about that. And the fact that those men stood around those females and allowed them to do that, make it even worse. Thus, that was nothing but a thrill. Really. And the devil rejoiced. And the devil rejoiced. My country's gone. I could believe it, but it was amazing to see those men up there, whatever they were saying, and allowing those women to do that. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with anything but hell. They were praying to the devil. Really. And those men had no gonads where they said, hey, ladies, this is not going to happen. At least we're not going to participate with it, and correct the women. And it's no wonder Christians are under attack. They have no authority. They have no authority. This is just a thrill right there, folks. It has nothing to do with God. It's not love. It's not of God. And those males, stood around those women and went along with it. And they prayed in tongue, what they call tongue. Amazing. It's over. It is over. According to MTN, the pastor seen raising their hands. The pastors seen raising their hands and speaking in tongues were visiting Trump White House faith office, now led by televangelist Paula White. Lord have mercy. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. That's sad. The devil. That was just a thrill, folks. An ego thrill.
Being dispatched right now from Africa right now. Africa right now.
That's Paula. That's Paula, and she's like the White House face something. It's over. This is why you better do what you want. I recommend you start looking within yourself for the kingdom. It's in you. It ain't in that. That's for sure. So according to MTN, some cited Matthew 5:6, where Jesus warned against performing in public prayer. Others were disturbed by the group's alignment with Trump, given his long history of misogyny, infidelity, and cruel behavior. What the? Y'all don't even need to react to any of that, because that the devil's all in that. Evil is all in that. It has nothing to do with God. Amazing, huh? That is so evil. I want you to see it again, just to remind you. Watch this from MTN. me some.
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word. Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us, and we are taking the land. We thank you, O Lord, you have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now, from the capital of our nation, that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your people right now.
It's just a thrill. That's all that is. It had nothing to do with God. God not to listen to that. God doesn't even hear that. I want you to respond to this, and then I get to my callers. Maybe two things. This is from ABC News. Have you heard about the mass shooting in Michigan?
I did.
On a church.
Oh, no. Yeah, I did. Just from your packet, from your show this morning, show prep this morning.
I had not heard about this. I haven't heard about it in the media at all.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it in the media either.
I think I saw a flash of it on YouTube or somewhere, but I didn't really watch it because I didn't know if it was real or not, or was it an old story or not. Have you heard about this, Anchor Baby?
No.
The shooting at a church?
What? No.
ABC News, an alleged active shooter intent on attacking a Michigan church on Sunday was shot and killed by security guards after another church staff member who prevented a large-scale mass shooting, says the police. Watch this from ABC News.
Frightening moments at this church service near Detroit after a gunman opened fire outside the church. Police investigating this Facebook live stream. Inside the Cross Point Community Church, people seen scrambling to exit.
Please, everybody come to the back.
After hearing what sound like gunshots. Ring camera video near the church also capturing what seemed to be multiple rounds of gunfire. Police say parishioners outside saw the gunman driving recklessly, then get out of his vehicle wearing a tactical vest, carrying a rifle and a handgun. They say he began firing as he approached the church. That's when one parishioner and multiple church staffers confronted him.
A parishioner struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. At least 2 staff members shot the gunman, causing fatal wounds.
Authorities credit church staff with killing the suspect, a 31-year-old man believed to have been suffering from a mental health crisis.
We are grateful for the heroic actions of the church's staff members, who undoubtedly saved many lives and prevented a large-scale mass shooting.
See why the Second Amendment is so important? And you had not heard about that, right? Hey.
Not until this morning with your producers setting it up.
You heard about it, Anchor Baby?
Not until just now.
Oh, man, huh? In Michigan, they have 300 Muslim marching over there, even though this seemed like it was a different ordeal, but Christians are under attack, and nobody cares. Not a word about it in the media that I heard. If it's in the media, I'm not aware of it, even though they're reporting it there on ABC. The shooter told the church pastor he heard from God before the planned attack. I wonder if this is the same way the woman believes she is God. I love you, lady. What's her name?
Marilyn.
Marilyn. I love you, Marilyn, but you ain't God. Watch this from Fox 2 Detroit.
The bullets came through and busted all the AC lines, went through here.
Larry Ward is familiar with the damage done to the Cross Point Community Church Sunday morning. According to Wayne Police, 31-year-old Brian Browning unloaded an AR-15 style rifle multiple times, hitting the church, injuring a church security member before he was shot dead.
He said he was a prophet. He said he heard from God.
Pastor Bobby Kelly Jr. said Browning had a private meeting earlier this year where he expressed religious concerns.
He asked some questions about the Bible. He kind of challenged me on some things in the Bible.
Browning came to the church because of his mother.
She was recently baptized. We've been knowing her for many years.
The pastor saw him in February, and after a service, the two spoke.
Wondering if you can help me with some things. He seemed to be genuine about needing some help. I don't know exactly what it was because he didn't say. And I said, sure.
But the next time Browning came back to the church was Sunday. How many rounds do you think this shooter shot?
He had an AR-15, and I know he reloaded twice and maybe 3 times. So he shot a lot of rounds.
Amazing. I have not heard a lot about that. Have y'all heard about that? Amazing. You surprised he black, the pastor? Yeah. Was he black?
He's a light-skinned black guy.
I thought he was like a Muslim-looking guy.
He seemed black to me.
Everything seemed black to you.
Everything seems Muslim to you.
They are everywhere. But it sounds like he has some mental issues.
Yeah, his mom went to the church.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah, it's a pro-Second Amendment story.
Yeah.
The churchgoers and the staff, well, the churchgoer drove into him with its truck and was shot at, according to the report. And then the church staff were armed and they shot him and killed him.
Amazing.
Rest in peace.
Huh.
That's partly why it's not such a big story, is because when you end things the right way, it's not as not
the same thrill.
big of a news. Yeah.
Yeah. What you say, Anchor Baby?
No, never mind.
Maybe, and that's partly why it's also not a big story, because it's in favor of the Second Amendment, being armed.
Oh, that's a good point. ABC knew one staff member, a member of the security team, was shot once in the leg by the suspect, according to ABC. One other quick thing, folks, I want to show you why we need White History Month. If ever we need it, White History Month, we need it now. And they need it in Europe. They need White History Month. This is from GB News. Alex Armstrong hits out a report revealing there are 72 schools. Listen to this. There are 72 schools in England without a single white British child. 72. According to this report, schools in England without a single white British child. Can we say America? Call it a shocking reflection of rapid demographic change. Watch this from GB News.
There is not a single white British child in 72 schools across England. In 454 schools, white British children make up less than 2% of the student body. White British children are also now a minority in 1 in 4 schools. That is data from the Department of Education reported by The Telegraph today.
That's happening in America. Do we need White History Month? If ever we needed White History Month, hurry up July. We need it now. And we need Donald Trump to acknowledge White History Month. So notify him. Armstrong raised the question if there should be a White History Month in the UK. The word is getting around. Watch this.
I strongly believe this is indirect social engineering on a national scale. Tell me this. How does any country expect assimilation, let alone a shared culture when thousands of children grow up in classrooms where white British identity is the exception, not the norm? Will there be a White History Month to help with these minority children to feel included? Will there be DEI initiatives to give them a leg up? Of course not. They're the wrong kind of minority, aren't they? And yet it seems if you even dare to raise these questions, the government now might label you as a potential terrorist. That's not hyperbole. That is the Home Office's own Prevent programme, including what they are dubbing cultural nationalism as a red flag for radicalisation.
That's not hyperbole. Amazing. That's coming to America.
Hyperbole.
Whatever.
That's not hyperbole.
That's not hyperbole. We're coming. Don't worry. We're on our way, Alex, to the UK to start our first White History Month over there as well. The word is getting around. If ever we needed to remind generations to come and generation past how white people founded and built the great countries around the world. Well, not around the world, but in the Western world. If it wasn't for white America, it would be S-hole countries. And now they are pushing you out of your own country. You know, you just sit back and let them pass law that says you can't speak up. And the more you tell you can't speak up, the greater laws they pass. Here's where he talks about how mass migration is affecting the UK. Watch this.
So let's be absolutely clear. Mass migration is driving down wages, jacking up housing demand, crushing the NHS, and putting enormous pressure on public services. Not forgetting costing the taxpayer tens of billions of pounds. And after all of that flagellation, we're told we can't discuss the failure of some to integrate. Further fueling division, isn't it? Riots and resentment. The kind we've seen erupting in cities across Europe, even here in the UK.
Isn't it? Isn't it? What y'all got to say about that? My experts.
It is actually a terrible story.
It really is. It's as bad as those women speaking in tongues in front of the White House. I'm surprised the White House haven't collapsed. But what do you say about the hate?
I have anti-white fatigue.
Yeah. And why is it bad, Anchor Baby?
They
are experts on the Jesse Peterson show, by the way. The host of the American Anchor Baby show at 11, and then the host of the Hate Report at 9 o'clock a.m., right after my show. Go ahead.
No, it's just at this point, it really is clear, at least for me, that it's at least for some in the government, et cetera, that they really do wish to see Britain, America, they say it openly at this point. They want to see white people go away. They want to see them go down. They believe that, like my shirt says, there's no such thing as racism. They say that these people, their racism is like within them. It's like if we got rid of them, we would get rid of all this oppression, this racism. So what they're saying now at this point openly is they want to get rid of Europe, of the white people.
But why? What's wrong with the whites that they allow these illegal aliens to come into their country? They founded and created the country, and they allow these people to come in and just take over like this. Hey, come here.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, that's the big question that's kind of been going around. What is causing this like suicide of these countries, of these people? I mean, it's been engineered, Jesse, I think, for years.
Yeah.
And you could say a number of things, but I think the greatest summary that we've had in for some time is this summary of anger. To summarize, if I may, because there's a lot to say, but that summary of an angry people can't see what is coming down on them. They can't help but blame the wrong thing. They'll always blame the wrong thing.
And then when they see it, they feel helpless to it. Like they believe that there's nothing they can do about it. And it's mind-blowing to me, Hake, that these foreigners can come into your country and change your rules, your laws, and run you over and take over.
Yeah. You know, I was conversing with a super chatter, a frequent super chatter on my show, about how we want people to come in, but legally, and then many of us don't even want people coming in legally even.
I don't want them in legally at this point.
Right. And part of that is because many of them do not care about the law. Many of the non-whites don't actually care at all about the law. And it's proven by them coming illegally.
Right.
And then the ones who come even legally, they don't even really respect our First Amendment, Second Amendment. They don't love white people. So it sounds racist and unprincipled to support like whites primarily in white countries. But it is principled to do that because of how the whites are compared to how these others are.
Well, white people should tell these folks, go home then if you don't like it.
Right.
You don't have to stay here. And why would white people expect these people to respect their law when they don't respect the law in the countries they left? They didn't do anything about that.
I think that many of the whites got spoiled and comfortable and forgot God and the truth. And so they were able to be convinced of all kinds of different things. So they fall into the intellect.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I've seen craziness. You think those women that was up there shouting, not allowed the Lord, that's crazy? But just top that. It seemed to be fear, though. It's just out of fear. I have never thought or seen that white people are this afraid.
There's been a brainwashing, and so the fear is built into the teaching. The fear and the hatred is built into the teaching for many generations.
Yeah.
So you didn't even recognize it as fear. It's just a brainwashing thing sometimes.
That's a very good point. It is. It's been taught so long, and the fear is in the teaching.
Because the government is against the people. You know, the whites are not making the babies, and so they have this excuse of, oh, we don't have enough workers. And then they also put so many people on welfare and unemployment, so they're spoiling the people. And so they're pretending, oh, we need bodies and workers and more heads to keep the money coming in. But these people aren't producing, for the most part, money. They're taking away money.
They get free money in our country.
But there's a way that people make money off of them in the short term because of the government.
Oh, yeah. So listen, folks, you better get your White History Month T-shirts. We're celebrating 8 years come July, and now you see why. We gotta keep at least fight a little bit. So get your T-shirts and get them now. Go to JesseLeePeterson.com/shop. We got to put it out there. We're not just going to lay down and take this. There's nowhere else to go. These people in our country and in Europe and over there, they didn't come from great countries that we can run to. What a mess. White people, if not now, when? You wasting your time hating the Jews. You're just going to end up another victim like the blacks. Why not be the ruler of your own world? So I told you yesterday, mentioned this guy in New York running for mayor. And that my country is never coming back. And it's being set up to not come back. Every day, something is happening in my country, in America, to make sure it never returns. that it doesn't come back. Isn't that amazing? We have lost, not quite completely, thanks to the great white hope, Donald Trump, is not gone yet all the way. But we have lost, we are losing America at a rapid pace right now. Isn't that amazing? I never really, I'm from the old school. I've never imagined one day growing up, even when I first moved to LA at 18 and through my 20s and maybe early 30s, I never imagined that America could get to this point. Really, I just didn't know. I know what it is. I didn't know the wickedness of human hearts. And that human nature is evil, pure evil. And I didn't know the depths of that. And that's what is causing the loss of America. Because I used to think that, I really did, whether you were Democrat or Republican, whatever you voted for, though on paper, at one time, I don't know what it looked like now, Democrats and Republicans disagreed on things, but I never imagined that they would have, Democrats and some right-over Republicans would agree to destroy America for power, perceived power, and wealth. I didn't know that was possible. But now I clearly understand it. I just didn't know back then. I thought they all would disagree on certain things, religion and abortion and things like that. But I never imagined that they would work to destroy a free country, a country that you can live in, pretty much do what you want, be as rich or poor as you want, live where you want, just kind of do your own thing. I thought everybody loved that freedom. I was wrong. And there were signs. I never imagined that when I first started doing radio some 30 years ago, I did radio. I started out in radio. At that time, internet radio stuff wasn't available or known as well as I know. And on radio, we used to show you and talk to you about over in the Alawaba country, where the Muslims were chanting death to America. You would see thousands of them in the streets over there in Iran, Iraq, and those areas. And they were chanting death to America and death to Israel. And they were chanting, they said that we are the big Satan, and Israel is the little Satan. And I just thought there was no way that these people could come into my country, into America, and do the exact same thing. It just seemed like it was something in a foreign country, and it seemed so evil. When we would show it and hear what they were saying, it just didn't see it possible to happen here. And it was being said back then, as it is now, that the Alawaba people, the religion, wanted to conquer the world. They wanted to be the Alawaba religion in the world. And I just never imagined that they could bring that here. It just seemed possible. And the signs were there. But it didn't seem possible. And then I never imagined that our government, Democrat, right over Republicans, would be okay with open borders that allow anyone who wanted to come here without question. Just cross into the country, and then they would defend it. And as a result, you have all kinds of people here from all over the world with those ideas about America. And on our soil, they are chanting death to America and burning the American flag in front of us on TV. And then you will have American politicians, and American university so-called teachers defending it and agreeing with them. And then I didn't imagine that we could bring foreign refugees into America who we know don't love America, but America feels sorry for them. That's why it's not good to feel sorry for anyone. And let them into our government where they make laws and they make decisions about us, the American people. And they do it with the attitude of hating America. They don't even pretend that they love America. Like that woman, Ilhan Omar, the little black woman up there in wherever Detroit, somewhere. And then Talib Rashid, whatever her name is, from Iraq. Well, no, she's from there, but somewhere like that. They're in our government, and men and women like that. Palestine, wherever she's from. In American government, like in the government, running the government. And they're supporting death to America by not denouncing it and going along with it and calling America racist if Americans say no to it. It's just mind-blowing. And so my country's gone. How can it return? And there are no men, for the most part, except with Donald Trump, who are brave enough to fight for it. America. They are too afraid to fight for America. So Ilhan Omar is from Minnesota, and Rashid Talib, whatever her name is Detroit. Anchor baby from Palestine. What a mess. And then I thought it was bad enough when I first moved to L.A. in 1968 that white people were afraid of the blacks, and they were afraid to be called the so-called racist. And as a result, and the blacks would make up these lies about suffering because of slavery and all that crap. Pure lies. Just there's not one black in America suffering due to slavery. And I was surprised at the fear in white Americans about that. And then the blacks got worse. They started attacking the whites, knocking them out. One thing just led to another one. And the more they attacked the white, the more the whites gave up. Their schools, their communities, their government, their businesses, and everything got worse. That was bad. I had no idea that it could get worse. And there were signs. I never imagined, one more thing I didn't imagine for now. I never imagined that American knew, all Americans knew this, that women were not created to lead, but to follow. That is not in their nature to be a leader. God didn't make it that way. And it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. The Americans knew that men and women knew this, and it used to be said out loud. I remember when men and women didn't even want female reporters, news reporters and things like that, because their voices were so, it like hurt your ear, like a fire truck going by and the dogs start howling, because the noise from the fire truck hurt the dog's ears. Men and women did not want women, even in newscasting, because they didn't want to hear that whiny voice or scratching voice or something like that. Remember all that? They would never allow them to run a church because they knew the order of things, and women knew the order too at that time. And now, in my country, the men are being put out of business, and they're giving it over to the women. It's not like the women are strong enough to take it. They're giving it to them because the men are weak. And my country is not coming back. My, how things have changed. And the anger and hatred of human beings in America today is through the roof. It's through the roof. Families are like, you can't find a peaceful family. It's non-existent. And my country is not coming back. You allow Muslims, more and more started to get into American politics. And they have the Muslim ideas too, and they don't care that you know about it because they know that you're too afraid not to vote for them. You don't want to be called a racist. In New York, we told you about a guy out of New York. This is from the New York Times. Some guy by the name of Zohran, and forget about his last name. That's a Muslim name. That is not American. A 33-year-old state assemblyman built a significant lead over former Governor Andrew, who conceded the race to a Muslim. Andrew Cuomo left the doors open to running in the general election. And I want you to hear this clip, video soundbite from this guy, this Muslim, and his Mamdani. I don't need to say it there. His plan for, I'm talking about producer, his plan for city-owned grocery stores in New York City. Watch this from X.
Grocery prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zohran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores, whose mission is lower prices, not price gouging. These stores will operate without a profit motive or having to pay property taxes or rent, and will pass on those savings to you.
Sorry about the shake-up there. What was that about?
Honestly, I'm not sure. But I just refreshed it, so it shouldn't do it again.
You want city-owned grocery store to put private business out of business. That's what they do in Iran, Iraq, and Palestine. And this man is running for mayor of New York. Socialism, so that they can control you even more so. And it's like the people of New York have not had enough pain. I told you, human beings love misery. They love their pain. It's a thrill. They love complaining. It's a thrill. This guy, a Muslim, it appears he's a Muslim. He has a Muslim name. And there's a possibility he will be a part of our government. And he's telling you he wants city-owned grocery stores, meaning that put private business out of business so we can control you at the grocery store. And they try to make it sound attractive. They say, well, so it will not be a profit-owned government, store, business. But he's not telling you it will be a controlling business to control everyone, just like they do in Iran, Iraq, and all those places. and you vote for them. And we have so many of these people in our country now that the white voters won't even count after a while. And you know, not all, of course, but the black voters going for this guy. They're not going to go for what is right. They have a governmental mentality already for the last 70 years. And when you hear free government-owned grocery stores, you know the blacks are going to go for that. This guy, Mamdani, whatever his name is known for changing how he talked to win over voters. Watch this from Max.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak, this is how I am.
Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Bowman?
Amazing. This should make you tremble. But you're not. You'll tremble, but you still vote for him. Amazing, huh? And yet Americans vote for him. And he's telling you what he's going to do, what he is. He already told you he wants governmental stores, city-owned grocery stores. And last but not least about this, according to the New York Post report, Socialist New York City mayor candidate Zohran once voiced his love. According to this report, he once voiced his love for the 5 leaders of a notorious nonprofit convicted of funneling more than $12 million to the terror group Hamas. Isn't that amazing? And there's a possibility he's going to be the mayor of New York. And according to this report, he supported Hamas. We're going to have terrorist attacks being blown up at the bus station, on the train, everywhere. It's going to happen in America. It's been set up to happen. You're putting these people in your government. So what can stop it? This guy, according to the report, used to be a lesser known rapper back in 2017. In his 2017 rap song, he praised the 5 leaders who were later convicted. Watch this. Come back. Amazing. America is in trouble. And when things get worse, and they will, there's no use of complaining, crying, or anything, because you're getting what you asked for, you voted for. You voted for this. You voted for a terrorist attack in America by putting in the people that can make sure it happens. Foreigners from foreign lands in American government. And they can't help but have the same old ideas. They grew up with those. A change of country is not a change of mind. A change of countries is not a change of mind. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. God bless America, huh? You see how the people in Israel have been blown up at bus stops and all kinds of stuff. It's going to happen in America. It's already happening somewhat now. It's going to get worse. I want to play this soundbite from about Matt Gaetz, but I don't know what to think about it. So maybe you do. And the anchor baby said he has some doubt about this one too, so I totally understand and I agree. I don't know what to think about it. I want to know what you all think about it. And so what you're going to see here is, according to the report, Matt Gaetz is communicating with his mother. And apparently he's on an airplane and he's communicating with her, and someone allegedly is either sitting next to him or behind him, and they're videotaping Matt's conversation with his mother, according to the report. But what's suspicious about it is that Matt is holding his cell phone up like that for that whole time while it looked like somebody is recording it. So how many of you, especially people like that, Matt, he been in government and all eyes will always be on him. And he will have to know that if he holds his cell phone up for that long, that at some point somebody's going to be videotaping it. So I don't know if this is a setup for attention or if this is an accident or even if it's real or not. So I want to know what y'all think. This is from The Independent. Matt Gaetz confirmed on Tuesday that a viral TikTok video showing his mother arguing with him via text about Donald Trump's strike on Iran is real. Adding that a person sitting behind him on a recent flight recorded, quote unquote, recorded me without my knowledge, quote unquote. Watch this for viral news.
Former Representative Matt Gaetz was caught texting his mom for advice on how to deal with President Trump. In the 72-second video, surreptitiously filmed by a passenger on a recent flight and posted on TikTok, Gaetz's conversation is in full view, thanks to a zoomed-in screen that made the message text larger. The user captioned the exchange, POV, "You're sitting behind Matt Gaetz and he's texting his mommy." Gaetz's mom, Vicky Gaetz, warned the ex-Florida congressman, "Don't be criticizing the president or his actions. He's trying to keep us safe. That's his job. MAGA will turn on you. You will lose viewership," the doting mother warned. "Your days in Congress are over. Let's not mess up the media gig," she said of his job as host of The Matt Gaetz Show on One America News Network he started in January. "The president has been a very good friend to you. He hates betrayal. Be smart, not stubborn," his mom admonished. "I'm trying to guide him, not criticize him," Gaetz insisted. "I've never been freer to share my views, and I'll continue to do so."
Mason. First of all, why is he asking mama for advice? That's first of all. And the mama said, MAGA would turn on you. What the? And he held his phone for a long time if this is real and not an act. And I like Matt. I know that he's a smart man. Matt Gaetz mentioned that the mother who cheered for Bush, I'm sorry, the people who cheered for Bush for the Iraq war have blood on their hands. Watch this.
I think about the people who cheered for the Iraq War because they liked Bush. Those people have blood on their hands, he said. Vicky advised her son against trying to guide the notoriously independent-minded commander-in-chief, to which Gaetz replied, "Guiding DJT always includes a private and public component. I know how to do it," he insisted. The conversation veered into his finances, his mother asking, "How many times do you want to hit the wall?" Gaetz replied with a flex of his family and assets. "I'm a happily married man with a son on the way, 2 penthouse condos, a 1-to-1 real estate asset to debt ratio, and $500,000 in my bank account cash," he touted. On the topic of Iran, Gaetz claimed the Islamic Republic has been 3 months away from a nuke since 1992.
Amazing. So what do y'all think about that? Do you think that's a setup? Is it real? Do you believe? You don't know. I don't know. We weren't there, but is it real? And why would he have that kind of conversation with his mama? And why would he hold his phone up that high for that long? And having such a, seem to be a personal conversation. I don't know about this one. What do you think, Anchor Baby?
Yeah, I had a similar impression. I think the conversation between his mother is real. I mean, I have no reason to believe it's not. But I saw the video that was posted of whoever recorded him.
Right.
And in the full video, he's got his phone out and he's slowly scrolling through the whole conversation from top to bottom. I don't know anybody that does that. Like setting it up for the person behind them.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I personally think it's a bit of a planted story so that because Matt Gaetz is on OAN trying to make a name and doing stuff over there. I mean, he's essentially correct, I think, about blood on their hands and Bush. But I think it's a bit of a planted story.
It's interesting. I don't know what to think about this one. What do y'all think? Not that you weren't there and Matt didn't tell you what really happened, as far as I know. But I just don't know. Oh, one other quick. Donald Trump, this mother said to Matt, according to a report, President Trump, the president has been very good friend to you. He hates betrayal. Be smart, not stubborn. That was some wise advice. Mama, you gave some wise advice to your son on that one. And then like he would know that, though. But the people who betray you more are the ones that you're the closest to and the ones you help, by the way. Remember Judas? And Judas is in your mind and outside of you, inside of other. Your mindset is Judas of the Bible, by the way. Bob and Papa, Thursday, not today. Your mind is Judas. So, Matt, you probably should take your mama advice on this one. Mama said, there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this. My mama said. That's crazy he's talking to the mama. But anyway, I want to show you this this soundbite that we got. I believe it's from Jermaine, I think, out of Canada. Is that right there? I forgot already, but I think Jermaine out of Canada. He just recommended this soundbite. I have not seen it yet. This is from GMA. A person by the name of Michaela Raines was, I'm trying to scroll down, be patient with me. Michaela Raines, a beloved animal rescuer. A beloved animal rescuer. Died by suicide. And her husband says online bullying was a factor. Watch this from GMA.
We're back with the death of a YouTube star with millions of followers. She was just 31. Her story raising new awareness about the dangers of online harassment. This morning, the death of a beloved animal rescuer is casting a light on cyberbullying.
Hey guys, I'm introducing our newest rescue group.
Michaela Rains, founder of Save a Fox, amassed more than 6 million social media followers, sharing her life caring for rescued foxes and other animals.
We are with Chowder and Cassie.
Rains' husband announcing in a video that Michaela, who he says struggled with depression and borderline personality disorder, died by suicide.
For a few years, a group of people had been throwing dirt on Michaela's name.
Ethan says online bullying was a factor.
Most of these are people she knew, and some of them are other animal sanctuaries. They consistently spread ridiculous claims and rumors. She felt as if the entire world had turned against her.
Amazing, huh? 1 million followers couldn't keep her alive. 1 million could not keep her alive. Statistics shows most teens and adults suffer from cyberbullying. Watch this from GMA.
Cyberbullying is often seen as a teenage issue, and while nearly half of U.S. teens have faced it, surveys show so have 41% of adults and 95% of online creators.
If you only have negative garbage to say, just shut up.
This year, First Lady Melania Trump revived her Be Best campaign with a renewed focus on online safety.
The widespread presence of abusive behavior in the digital domain affects the daily lives of our children, families, and communities.
Rains leaves behind her husband, their daughter, and the sanctuary she poured her life into.
I'm confident we can bring more light to this world, and we'll be doing it for Michaela.
Amazing. The one thing I promise you, I'm telling you the truth about this. I'm not making this up, and you can prove me wrong. Online bullying did not, I don't know what happened to this woman, but I can tell you online bullying did not do that. It did not cause her to allegedly commit suicide. It did not have nothing to do with it at all. That was a blind excuse made up because I guess her husband and the woman did not see what was going on inside of her. It had nothing to do with it. It was already borderline depression or whatever they said she had. That means she was separated from the truth. She was separated from God. Anyone that has borderline depression or suicidal or any of that stuff, anxiety, stress, you're subject to the devil. And the devil will make you kill yourself. And once you kill yourself, he laugh at you. He laugh because you fell for a lie. As long as you blame someone else for the way you're feeling on the inside, as long as you blame an outside source, you're never going to overcome. You are a victim in your mind. And all angry people are victims in their minds. I promise you that. It was already in her. She already had fear. That's why she was borderline, whatever they said she was. And she had anger. And she blamed, this man is blamed. And the people on the website, I'm sure they did that because evil people love thrills. Evil people love attacking other people to get a thrill, and they get a false sense of life from that when you overreact to it. They feel alive. They're dead, but they think that they're alive by causing problems for you or causing you to react to what you think is a problem. What a sad way to live, huh? But you can overcome that. You don't have to be who you are any longer. She didn't have to commit suicide for those reasons. If she committed suicide, and he's crying and blaming somebody else because he can't see that was already in her. Anyone that has anger has hatred. And anyone that has that is separated from the truth. You have no relationship with the truth. You only have relationship with evil. your nature is that of evil. Amazing, huh? It's so mind-blowing, folks. If it wasn't shown to me, I couldn't see that. I couldn't believe it on my own. Belief would not allow me to see something like that. The truth comes from within. It is in our hearts, and not the way you think it is. So get away from that. Amazing, huh? The moment you blame anyone, when you say, you made me angry, I got mad because you were mad, you embarrassed me, you did this, you're a lost soul. You're saying out loud, I'm lost, I'm asleep, I'm evil. Whether you realize it or not, you're saying that. You don't have to be you any longer. It's up to you. You don't have to be you. I was reflecting on, and especially these couple of stories I'm about to present to you, and I realized there are so many things I'm grateful for sure. But the one thing I am totally grateful for, all the way sure, is that during the good old days, they raised me up to work when I was young, and they prepared me to leave home at 18. And not just me, most of the young men and women were raised that way. But sometimes the women stayed until their husband came and got them. But we were raised to leave home at 18, and because you were prepared for it, when 18 came along, you had no problem leaving home because you're considered to be an adult, and you can now either sink or swim. And the beauty about it, they weren't worried if you're going to sink or swim either. You didn't have to write every day, call every day. Mama wasn't checking on you every day because it was totally up to you. And you were raised that way. I'm so grateful for that I don't hardly know what to do with it. Because it's so not like that now. And as a result, men and women are weak. And not all, but most are weak. They cannot survive on their own. They cannot, and most of them stay home. They be living like with their mothers 19, 20, 30, all through the 20s and 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s until mama die. I'm so grateful for that. And another thing, as a result of being out there on my own at such an early age in life, I made a lot of stupid mistakes along the way, a lot of them, but I'm okay with that too now. And I needed those things in order to help me in whatever way they helped. But I'm grateful that I left home. And so when I moved to LA around 18, I started listening to Jesse Jackson and Louis Farrakhan and the NAACP and others, the Wicked Witch of the West. They were all talking about racism. And they were calling white people racist. And they said that the blacks can't make it because of racism. And for a minute, out there on my own, listening to these adults, because I thought, since they were in the media, I thought they were honest and that what they were saying was true. I believed that for a while. I did. I really believed it. And every time I dealt with white people, in the back of my mind somewhere, I was thinking that they were racist. And especially if they disagree with me. I automatically thought, and it wasn't my thought I know now, but I didn't know then what I know now. If I knew then what I know now. But I thought automatically they would disagree with me because of my color. And I would be angry. And that went on for a couple of years. And then finally, as I always have been, I started to question things. I really did, like I did as a child. And I wonder, okay, so if racism is as bad as the so-called civil rights leaders and others are saying it is, that black people can't make it because of racism, because of the white man and racism, white people, why is it that the people who are saying these things, like the NAACP, Congressional Black Caucus, Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan, Al Sharpton, and all those people, why is it that they're living high on the hog? I really thought that. And I'm like, why is it that their children, they're black, blacker than me, most of them, a lot of them, and they're doing fine. They're going to the best schools. They're getting the best education. And I'm like, how is it they're making it? The white man not holding them back, but everybody else being held back by the white man. I literally thought that. I wondered and I pondered. And then I realized that I had been lied to, that it wasn't true at all. Really. It wasn't true. It was just a total lie. I even thought that for a while I started saying that white people are racist because I believed a lie. Once you believe a lie, it's nearly impossible. It's not impossible, I realize now. If you want to know the truth, you can know the truth. But once I believed a lie, you couldn't convince me that it was a lie until I started to examine myself to find out that there was no such thing as racism. I had been lied to. And that those people, the civil rights leaders, so-called, all those people and then some, they were lying to me so that they could be in power and gain wealth and fight that. And I thought, that is horrible, that these people are sacrificing other black people's lives so that they can have perceived power and wealth. It was like horrible when I realized that. But I had to change of mind. I didn't believe it anymore. And when I didn't believe that anymore, I just went about continue living my life, and because that was a part of the on the way. Down the road, I ran into that stumbling block. And then I started to see that it was about character and not racism at all. And I went on with my life. Thank God. Because had I not been allowed to see the real deal, I'll be believing that today. At my age, imagine being this old and thinking racism as this. What would I have been and what would I have gotten out of life had I continued to believe the lie? That somehow or another, somebody can hold me back because of my color. What a sad way to live, huh? And I had no idea that this was like in the this late 60s, 70s, 80s, right? And just imagine what my life would have been had I believed that lie, that somebody can hold me back because of my color. What a mess. And I had no idea that from the 60s to now, 2025, that these black race hustlers, that it would go from generation to generation, and that they would want power and they would use this idea of racism, even though you can clearly see now that it's not true, that they would still be using this to maintain power and wealth. And that's the only reason they're using. They don't believe it. Really, they do not believe it. But they say it because it keeps other black people unaware, black people under control, so that they can become what they think are important people, the leaders, the examples. And there are some black people who believe it because they want to examine to see the truth. But I had no idea that in 2025, this was back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, I didn't know they'll be pushing it harder in 2025 than they did back then. It has nothing changed. Even though white people have given up everything, they have given up their schools, their communities, their businesses, their children. They gave up the white woman. The white woman all messed up now. But the white woman, white people have given up courage for fear. And even more, back in 2025, the blacks are crying racism more so now than they ever have done, and they blame racism on everything. Blacks are so not all, but more. They're such a failure and loser in life. They're even blaming racism on diseases. Think about that. They got cancer because of racism. They're stressed. They have diabetes because of racism. Think about that. Who would even say something like that with a smile? But the blacks is so bad. White people thought, okay, well, we give the blacks everything they ask for. At some point, they're going to know that, okay, it doesn't exist anymore. White people have even given up their country, America. And white people thought at some point, black people are going to know, we're not against y'all, we'll give you everything. We've spoiled you. And you only gotten worse. And now the blacks are even they blame their fat on racism. Know how everybody fat? They're blaming racism for everything. For everything. It's almost sad if I was into emotions. It would be sad if I was into emotions. And they do it with no shame. Blacks are now blaming, this is from Fox News, if you doubt me. Blacks are now blaming racism on everything, disease and everything. They got diabetes because of racism. Former Representative Jamaal Bowman, not Boner, Bowman, my bad, he black. Bowman, a Democrat out of New York, he black. He claimed that black people face higher rates of chronic diseases like cancer and diabetes due to the stress of being called the N-word every day. During an appearance on CNN News Nights on Wednesday. Watch this from CNN.
These were two Democratic elected officials in Minnesota who were killed. The Tree of Life Synagogue shooting, killed. Christchurch, New Zealand, slaughtered. AME Church in South Carolina. On and on and on. This is America.
Catholic
and the problem is we are not dealing with America's original sin and its disease of hate and racism towards black and brown people and sexism towards women and anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You can't be calm about this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment
Listen
on
to what I'm saying. The reason why heart disease and cancer and obesity and diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Jamaal.
But unfortunately, we're still here.
That is evil. And then that poor white man, okay, I'm not black, so I can't comment on that. I'm so sick of hearing that from white people, I don't know what to do. You can't comment on that, white people. Tell the man he's lying. He's lying. That's a lie. That's a straight up, bald-faced lie. And the white man, oh, I can't comment on that. I'm not black. And then just because black people scream, that doesn't mean you have to shut down. They're screaming so that they can fade you out. They don't want the truth about this to get out. The white man was marking him how?
He was being sarcastic.
About saying
He's
what?
saying, oh, I can't talk about this because I'm white.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was saying, I can't because I am white. But he was being funny. Sarcastic.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But he couldn't shout down the loud, pushy black guy. That's one thing for sure.
Screaming like mama. Isn't that the same black man that pulled that alarm system thing?
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
He was accused of pulling the guy you're trying to stop the vote or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He opened the emergency door or the fire.
According to those reports.
He pulled the fire alarm so he could get out the emergency door. Something like that.
Something happened. But that's a lie. Listen, how's anyone, and who calls somebody the N-word every day other than blacks calling people that? When the last time you've been called an N-word hake?
Yesterday.
See? Every day.
Directly or indirectly.
Every day.
If you're called a DEI mayor, that may as well be called the N-word.
I heard that. Well, man, but that's a lie, folks. And black people, do what you want, but you need to pull away from these people. They're trying to keep you down. This man been a congressman. He's all those CNN, and he's still crying racism. And then trying to act like he's serious about it by being emotional. An emotional person is never serious. An emotional person is lying. And when you're crying, you're lying. What, James?
The white guy said to Jamaal Bowman, this is what Anthony on cozy.tv/JLP says. He said, I can't comment that. He said, I can't comment on that because I'm not black. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. I thought that's what he said.
Right.
But you said he said something else. He was sarcastic.
That's what he said. That's what that implied. Not that necessarily sarcastic, but he's saying, say we're in an argument.
Right.
And you say I'm black or something. And I say, oh, I can't comment on that because I'm not black. Is that what you're saying?
Oh.
He's challenging the black guy.
Oh, okay. So you were challenging him, not sarcastic.
Whatever. Either way, but the point is he's not saying that I can't comment on that because I'm not black. He's suggesting that Jamaal was saying that he can't comment on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I just know white people been saying for years, I'm not black. I can't say I've never been black. What a mess. Click to Houston. A shoplifter reportedly tried to run from a Houston police officer, jumped from the second floor of the Galleria Mall, and landed on the ice skating rink below. And he was found unable to move. Watch this from KPRC.
So it looks like,
Okay. Oh my God. His ankle came off.
This dumb jumped from the second or third floor in the Galleria to the ice, running from the laws. Broke both his legs. Bro, both his. Look at his legs. I seen the Zamboni coming out to clear the ice, and then I just see somebody fall.
But this was no accident. The guy laying on the ice skating rink here at the Galleria Mall meant to jump down here. It's all part of his ice-cold getaway plan. Houston police say he just stole from a store in the mall around 2 in the afternoon on Sunday.
At some point, while being chased by police, the suspect jumping over this glass barrier and onto the ice skating rink down below, breaking both of his legs.
As soon as he fell, he tried to get up, And I guess he noticed his legs were broken. He screamed, "My legs are broken." I'm like,
He screamed that.
he screamed, he's like, "My legs are broken." I'm like, well, duh, obviously, right?
Houston police got that guy from the ice and took him to the hospital with serious injuries. They do have charges pending both for theft and for evading police. It's only after those charges are formally filed that they release his name.
What a mess, beta. White people can't even go ice skating unless the black people are stealing and jumping. Stealing and jumping. White people just trying to have a first-class life. Now they can't even go ice skating. They couldn't even go on a cruise anymore. Ever since they allowed the blacks to go on the cruise, they have destroyed cruising on a Sunday afternoon. They're on a cruise boat fighting. Now they're jumping off into the ice ring. Ever. We needed you, Lord. We need to know what's wrong with the blacks. Well, yes, hey, it is grooving on a Sunday afternoon, but in this case, you're cruising. You're jumping off the ice. I never understood why when someone commit a crime, whether it's like getting caught by the police, getting shot, or jumping off the rail there, according to the report, breaking both legs, why do they take you to a hospital? Really? Why don't they just put you in jail? I never understood why they have to patch up the criminal. And who's paying for that? Who paid for that? Why not just take them straight to the jailhouse? Where's the mercy and grace in putting them in a hospital first? Oh, the ISIS bomber blew up everybody around him, and then one of the bombs hit him, and we took him to the hospital. And then we arrested him. The battle is a warfare between good and evil folks. It's a spiritual thing. It's not physical at all. It's spiritual. And you cannot play with evil. Evil does not play. Evil's whole mission in life is to destroy you, and every human being is evil until they overcome hatred, the anger. Parents are evil. And parents will teach their children to be evil because that's all they have to give to the children. They have no love to give. Parents do not have love to give to their own children. Think about that. They only give the children what they have. And they have no love. What a beta that guy jumped off that rail and broke both legs. And they say he stole some glasses or something. Pair of eyeglasses, according to the report. And now both legs are broken. I bet you he doesn't have any insurance. Who's going to pay for that? Obama insurance? Or his mama insurance? What the? I want to give you an example. If this story is true, if it's true, I don't know for sure. And I've heard of black people telling their children that the police are hateful, racist, police brutality. And when a black child go out into the street. They don't have a child. I worry about my child. They may not come back. They tell children that. That is hatred. They hate their children, and so they set them up to suffer. And if this is true, here's an example of that. Here's a headline of the article from New York Times.
New York Times.
Of, I guess, a father telling.
Well,
what is this? Can
here's
my
the
children
headline.
Go ahead.
Here's the headline from New York Times by the author here, Iko and Yanka. Can my children be friends with white people? Asking out loud.
From 2017.
Mm-hmm. So it reads here, the summary for this article, as Derek wrote here, a black father grapples with teaching his sons to distrust white people for their safety in Trump's America. And I got a little bit of the article for you here.
And again, this from 2017. That's when the Great White Hope first ran, right?
Correct. 2017, November 11th this was published. So here's a bit of the article for you. It's impossible to convey the mixture of heartbreak and fear I feel for him. Donald Trump's election has made it clear that I will teach my boys the lesson generations old, one that I, for the most part, nearly escaped. I will teach them to be cautious. I will teach them suspicion, and I will teach them distrust much sooner than I thought I would. I will have to discuss with my boys whether they can truly be friends with white people. Yep.
What a sad way to live, to set your children up like that, if this is true. Isn't that like, we have to love in that.
The last bit here. As against our gauzy national hopes, I will teach my boys to have profound doubts that friendship with white people is possible. When they ask, I will teach my sons that their beautiful hue is a fault line. Spare me platitudes of how we are all the same on the inside. I first have to keep my boys safe, so I will teach them before the world shows them this particular brand of rending, violent, often fatal betrayal.
I told you once, I've told you twice, and I've told you 1,000 times that parents do not love their children. If this is true, this man teaching, putting fear into his children already. And then when the kids go out and act up, they're going to blame it on white people for that. Where is the love? You don't have a chance, folks. You don't have a chance. Who were born from parents from Ghana?
Take is saying that this writer is an African anchor baby from Ghana, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, a mess. No wonder.
Ikao Yanka.
No wonder that name is weird.
Yeah.
It's a black name. Your parents don't love you, so you must forgive them, so that you will be of love. And God, if you should have children, because you're not required to, but if you do, you'll pass on love to your children, not hate. And this is for all people. And then if they should have children, they'll pass on love to their children instead of hate, instead of anger. But it's coming from the parents. The parents set their children up to fail in life. And they blame it on someone else.